never before has Excel sheets brought me so much pleasure.
They make me very happy, but they also terrify me. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, what is pleasure without a bit of fear?
You know what? Yeah, that's true. Welcome to the official TSS podcast, Keep It Simple, where we sit down every week to discuss anything and everything under the sun that has to do with personal finance. And we try to keep it simple, of course. I'm Sope, the content writer for TSS.
And I'm Pris, the graphic designer for TSS, and we'll be your host for this podcast. So, what are we going to talk about today? For our first podcast, we're going to talk about what a lot of young people are thinking about, actually, but not many people know about. It's about moving out and living on your own, and most importantly for your finances, how to pay your rent. Dude.
Sorry. Anyway. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So, Soap, you have
Yes.
experience living on your own, right? I mean, you've
Yes.
been living on your own for a while now, so...
I've been living on my own for, I think, what year is it? 2020. So that's...
Math.
Can't count.
Math.
The simple sum. I've been living on my own for about...
4 years?
Yeah, I would say 4 years.
About, give or take, a few months,
Thereabouts,
right?
4 years.
Right.
Yes.
That's quite long. I
Yeah. But I have to clarify that a good number of those years, I didn't have to pay rent.
Right.
But then now I'm paying rent. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So maybe you can start from the beginning. Like, how do you end up living on your own? And why did you move out? Because I think most Singaporeans, even when they are 30 or whatever, you know, it makes sense for us to stay at home.
Yeah, because our parents are home.
Yeah.
Don't have to pay rent. So, okay, for me, I moved out in about, I think it was around 2016 or something. It was just I just decided to move out because, okay, number one, like, my family's flat is like super old.
Right.
And then, so I remember one day I was in my room, right, and then I was just reading my book, and then I suddenly heard this very loud popping sound, and I was like, I think I'm gonna die. Someone's shooting at my window.
Damn.
Yeah, so then I was like, yeah, it was so weird, because then I started looking around. I was like, what the heck's going on? And then I realized it was because the room floor, the tiles,
It popped.
they were freaking popping. They were just popping like popcorn. And
But apparently that happens because of like the expansion and contraction of like because of the weather or something.
Yeah, but it's like never happened before.
Yeah.
And a lot of them popped. Like
all at once.
like one by one. Like one popped and then the next one popped and it's like, you know what, I want to join the party too, and then they all popped. And I was like really horrified because that's my room. So that was one of the reasons. Yeah, so then I told my family, I told my father, I was like, dude, the room floor is like, there's a hole in it. There are several holes in it. We should probably fix it. But we never got around to it. Also, my grandfather had a hoarding problem. So by that time, I was like, it's not really a conducive environment anymore.
Yeah.
So then I decided to just move out. Yeah. And then I found a place with my friend.
So, like, where are you living now?
I'm living in Kovan. I live in Lorong Asu.
No need to tell people your address.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to, but, you know.
Safety.
It's okay, I'm not going to drop my postal code or anything. Don't come find me, please. Xiaxue is my neighbor. Anyway. Yeah, so that's where I live, in the northeast.
Good diversion. Later they're going to look for Xiaxue.
That's right. Don't look for me. Her car is always parked downstairs. Anyway, yeah, that's where I live.
Okay. So how much rent are you paying now?
Okay, so my case is special. I need to like highlight this before we go into it because I'm living with my friend's grandparents, and I've known this friend of mine and her family since I was really young, like primary school age. So when I was thinking about where to move, they actually offered me a room in the grandparents' place. And at first it was supposed to be $400 a month, which is already below market rate, I'm sure.
Yep.
And then I think not long after I moved in with them, they lowered the rent even more to $350 because I'm still studying. The grandfather was like, oh, you know, since you're still in school, we'll just ask you to pay like $350 instead of $400 to like encourage you.
Okay, so they lowered the rent.
Yes, they lowered the rent to
Right.
350, which is unbeatable. Like, I've had friends asking me if I wanted to move in with them, and I'm like, I can't, because the rent I'm paying now, I can never get anywhere else. Even if I share a flat with like 3 other people. Yeah.
Like, so have you've researched like how much it would be if you were to share it with 3 other people?
Yeah.
Like around the same area.
Yeah,
Like, how
we've
much would
seen-
it be?
I've looked through quite a few listings with my friends. So we filtered it based on some criteria. So my friends wanted it to be accessible. They want their commute to be less than, like, we don't want 1 hour commutes.
Right.
So about 40 minutes is about the average, right? So then we were looking at places in, I think it was the east, like Geylang area.
Oh, that's prime.
Yeah, right.
That's prime.
And a lot of the flats that we saw, I think averaged around, I would say 2K.
Including utilities or like
Yeah, I
not?
think they include utilities. 2K or like 1.9.
Right,
I remember
right.
off the top of my head.
I mean, at least 500 each lah, right?
Yeah, let me just
Okay.
pull out the calculator now because I can't do math. So if it's, let's say it's 1.9 for a whole flat, and then at the time I was considering moving in with 2 other people.
Oh,
There's 3 people,
divide
right?
by 3. Okay.
You see, yeah, and you divide it by 3, you get like, you have to pay 633 a
Right.
month, which is like,
Like, that's a huge
No.
chunk, right?
yeah. And like, you also have to consider when you look at your places to rent, location factors in, and sometimes your flat comes with timey-wimey furniture that
Right.
you may not be able to like shift around or change.
Right.
So like, if you don't like that and you want something that looks more modern, then the rent is gonna go up even more.
And you have to invest in furniture.
Yeah.
These are all like extra charges that.
Yeah, let's say we find a really good place and it's like 2.4K. Yeah, and I'm living with 2 other people. Divide by 3, I can't do math. 800 a month, which
Right.
is,
Which is a lot.
it's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard somewhere that your rent should not be more than 30% of your pay, right? That's a general rule of thumb.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I've also heard people say like, oh, your rent should not be, it should only be like maximum a third, like 1/3 of your salary. So I guess that's the rule of thumb that people, because then you still have space to save money.
Yeah.
You're not
That's-
just bleeding rent and then every
Yeah.
month you're like, I'm broke, yay!
Yeah. And then like there's no fun money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so speaking about that, how has paying rent affected or changed like your own personal finances and your financial goals, I guess?
It's made me become a lot more realistic, because before that I wasn't paying rent, right? So then I was just earning, and all I had to do was spend reasonably so that I can save a rather huge chunk of money. And for me personally, I try to save like 50% of my income. So that's
That's
like
a
my
lot.
baseline. Yes.
You should be proud.
I am. Yeah, so before I was paying rent, everything was pretty straightforward. Like, I didn't really have to, like, I would have enough every month lah, basically. But after I started to factor in rent, then I redid my whole budget for the month, and then I realized, oh, I can't save as much as I used to. That was the first draft of my budget.
Yep.
I looked at it for a really long time, and I was like, But I don't know why. I felt a bit upset that I couldn't save half my salary anymore.
Yeah.
So then I tried to look at like, how do I adjust, or like, what should I do to reduce my spending. So
Yeah.
in terms of my personal finance, I made quite a few changes, I guess. First thing was that I limited my going out. Or like so I planned when I went out with my friends, it wouldn't be more than twice a week. So like, if
Actually,
I
that's
have,
quite a good number.
yeah,
Still. I mean,
because like, you never know, right? Like, sometimes my friends are like, oh, let's go for a drink like after
Yeah,
dinner, and
yeah.
I'm like, drinks are expensive. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like, if it's only twice a week, I think it really helped to control. So
Yeah.
then I don't have to like, I don't know, like by the end of the month, look at my bank account and be like, oh shit. Like,
Or
I
more
don't
like
have. Yeah.
you're also not depriving yourself of like socializing.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
not like don't meet your friends
Yeah.
entirely, you know.
Mm.
And how else did it? Other than socializing, had to control that. I don't shop.
Yeah.
It's just mostly food. and
Right. Yeah. Food is
video
expensive,
games.
man.
Yeah. I definitely had to be more mindful of what I spend for food every day, especially when we work in this part of Singapore, which is Bugis.
Yeah.
Things can get a bit pricey if you don't pay attention. But there's still some cheap food places around here. We just have to
Yeah.
walk a bit further out.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in Singapore in general, we have a lot of good food choices that are also very cheap.
Yeah.
Because of like hawker centers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then another big thing that I changed in the way I saved was that when before I started paying rent, I spent like, I think 2 months or 3 months just like saving like crazy. So this was before I was paying rent. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to go in like unprepared. So I
Right.
saved a buffer. So
you have
that
to
was,
pay a deposit or anything?
oh no deposit.
Oh, because it's based on trust, right?
Yeah, pretty
Right,
much.
right.
Yeah. And so what I did was I saved like crazy for I think 2 or 3 months just to build up a buffer. Like I will get a bit insecure if my buffer is not at least 2 months worth of rent.
Right.
So that's what I did. I just threw it all into another savings account and
Because you never know, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like things might happen, or like I don't know, maybe a family member might need help, or I might need help. Like
Yeah.
I'm clumsy AF, so what if I like, fall?
Insurance. So
Exactly.
Insurance.
Yeah. So I save like crazy, and today, even though I'm paying rent, because I have that buffer, I still managed to save, I think, almost half my salary.
Wow.
Yeah, just
That's good, eh?
yes.
Even without paying rent, I'm also only saving half my salary.
Yeah.
Yeah. A question that I like to ask is,
Yes.
do you ever feel like you were judged by your friends? Like, oh, why do you have to go and live by yourself? Like, then you don't have to save so much money, Like,
Right.
you can just live at home. Why do you need to spend so much money?
Well, actually, I didn't get that kind of. I didn't get those kind of remarks from my friends. It was more from like family.
Yeah.
Like, cause like you said, it's like, oh, why do you have to go out there and spend money every month to live in a place where, like, it's not home,
Yeah.
and also if you stay home with us, then you don't have to pay a single cent. You can save more money. And I think I did struggle with that before I made the decision to move in with my friend's grandparents and start paying rent, because I was thinking more of like, oh, well, that's money. If I pay it to a landlord, then that's money that, number one, I'll never get it back.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm investing the money so I get like returns.
Yeah.
Because the only returns is having a place to sleep, I guess. Yeah. So I did think about that for a very long time. And, but how I rationalized it for me, because it's a special case, right? Is that I told myself like, okay, at least you know where the money is going. It's going to like my friend's grandparents, whom I've known for quite a long time, and I feel like I wouldn't be so willing to pay a stranger, but for them, I pretty much see them as family. So it's like,
Right.
Yeah.
So then is it fair for me to say that if this option with your friend didn't exist, would you still be renting from a stranger?
That's a good question.
I mean, you still need a place to stay, right?
Yeah, I think I still might be, but I think I'd be even more upset, because then that means the rent would be higher, I would save less, But I feel like I would not have moved back home, even if the option to live with my friends' grandparents did not exist. I would still make it work. I would try my best.
Right. I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff that like comes with living alone as well.
Oh yeah.
A lot of freedom.
Yeah. It feels, you're basically paying, I don't know, it just makes me feel like, oh, this is it. I'm actually on my own this time. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Although sometimes it can be a bit like, oh, like I'm not home with family. But then again, on the other hand, it's not that bad because I like to be on my own. Like, I think sometimes it can get a bit claustrophobic when you stay with your parents for too long. Yeah. I don't know if this is a common thing, but...
Oh, definitely.
Thanks for being honest.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom. I'm sorry.
You want to say sorry? Yeah, okay,
sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. So...
I you asked whether I wanted to say sorry.
I mean...
But I was like, no, I'm not going to apologize.
Oh my god, not now! I'll say sorry when I go home later.
I'm sorry.
Buy her something nice. Yeah. What are we talking about? I was thinking of your
claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Claustrophobic.
Oh yes, claustrophobia. Yeah, so apparently it's a common thing, and I think it's really understandable because if you don't get married by a certain age, and by that I mean if you don't marry somebody of the opposite gender and then you can get a BTO with them, then you've got to wait until you're 35 to get your own flat. And I feel like by then, I don't know, I feel like I would get cabin fever at home and just go crazy because they're family, you've known them your whole life, but then that also means they know all the ways to annoy you without even trying. And it's not, I think moving out was not really an act of rebellion for me. Yeah. Though it can be seen and labeled as such if you don't have the full context.
I think you just did it for your own mental well-being.
Yeah.
Basically. I mean, nothing against your own parents, I guess.
Yeah, it's not that, my family is a total drain on my mental health, I'm going crazy. I mean, some days I do feel like that, but also I felt like moving out was a good move so that we could preserve what was left of the relationship. Oof. Oh, okay. Hard truths. Dark
times.
Yeah. So it helped. The physical distance helped.
Yeah.
That's on the...
Yeah, I can relate to that. Even though, like, I have a good relationship with my parents. Yeah. But, yeah, sometimes, I don't know, they just have to talk to me. They just have to say stuff. Just for the sake of saying it, right? And I like my own space as well, but so far it's been actually okay, like for me and my parents. I mean, sometimes like because of close proximity, even after I live with my spouse or whatever, we will still fight sometimes. It's just who do you want to fight with more? You want to fight with your spouse or you want to fight with your parents? Or you want to fight with your roommates?
Oh, in my roommates. Case, fight with no one.
So, for our listeners out there, how can someone find the right property for themselves? Like, what do you suggest that they need to find out and discuss or work out before they commit to such a big like financial commitment? Because you have to pay deposits, you have to pay for a lot of things, you have to actually move all your things,
and the moving is horrible.
It sucks, especially
if you have a lot of things and you want to bring most of them with you. So like apart from the basic stuff, when I say basic stuff I mean like I think location. What does that location mean? How long will it take you to get to work? And other basic things like furniture. What are the is everything in the flat working properly? What's your landlord like? I think other than that, you also need to figure out if you're financially ready for moving out. Yeah, I think that's very important. I mean, I know. Maybe sometimes you feel like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. I'm cooped up in this home. I can't wait to move out. Can't wait to. I feel like that's something I hear a lot of my friends say, or at least younger friends.
Yeah.
They're always like, oh, how nice would it be if I could just, move out right now? My parents are so irritating. If I move out, I don't have to report to anyone. And that's true, because I think freedom is always nice, but freedom comes with a price. And it's called rent.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think you really have to be ready, because it's not like rent is gonna go away after like the 6 after like 6 months. Like,
I mean either way you have to pay, right? It's parent or rent.
Exactly. Oh, Pris. Did you hear that?
Just
Yeah.
kill me now.
Later, afterwards. After we're done, then I will dispose
You
of
get
you.
the money. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, for
Actually,
to pay
it's
rent.
true. When you say that, do you mean like parental allowance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like-
wait, so that means
Because I pay like my
Right.
parents, I call it parent taxes, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but definitely those are much more flexible and without much consequence
Yes.
than actual rent.
If you
So
miss a payment with your parents,
then they might
Just like-
fine you,
they
but
just
they
give
will
you a bit of attitude lah. Next
correct,
month
correct.
just pay lah.
yeah, exactly. Just
But
attitude
landlord,
a bit, yeah.
landlord is like, I give you attitude, and then you also have to move out right now because
Yeah,
you can't pay
correct.
rent.
Evicted.
Yeah.
Evicted.
And I feel like that gives me a bit of anxiety. Like, when I think about people who like, they just want to move out, but they don't even think about whether they're financially ready for
Yeah.
it. That really makes me want to puke, because like, how can you not like want to be? How can you not have a buffer before you commit? What if you never know what's gonna happen, and that's why we also stress the importance of like rainy day funds, emergency funds. I personally have like 3 separate accounts, just so I can divide up the money and then I
Yeah.
can see it and be like, yeah, I'm safe.
Yeah.
So-
So have you used those funds so far?
I haven't touched my emergency funds, thank God,
Mm.
because now I'm channeling my savings into the rent buffer,
Right.
which I think we can just put it under rainy day fund lah.
Right.
Like all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other
yeah.
expenses that's not big enough to be an emergency.
The time you said the washing machine broke, right?
The washing machine. Oh my God. This was before.
Yeah.
This was before I moved in with my friend's grandparents. Okay, so this is like when I was living elsewhere in Yishun. Yeah, we did not. No one expected it.
It's
But
because it's Yishun, that's why it broke down.
that's right.
I'm sure everyone's tired of the Yishun jokes, but
It never gets old.
Let's make one.
I really felt cursed when that happened, actually, because I was
Legit.
we have so much laundry to do, and then you put the clothes in, and you press, and I did everything, put in the detergent, everything. Then I just pressed the
that
button,
sucks.
and then nothing happened, and I was like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, oh my gosh, you put in the detergent and everything.
Yeah.
Then, like, you have all the dirty clothes.
Exactly, and I was like, okay, like, because it's not my place, it's not my washing machine, so I couldn't, like, I needed to get the repair guy down, but then we also needed like, what's the serial number of this washing machine? So it was really quite hellish, and I can't really remember how much I paid. I feel like I paid upfront.
I remember you said
wanna
like
say-
200 or something.
Yeah, I want to say 200 something, and I paid it upfront, even though it wasn't my washing machine. I'm not like disowning it, because I do use it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pay it. But like, it was just an unexpected
Expense.
thing. It wasn't like the washing machine was like, I'm not feeling well today, I just let you know, I'm gonna break down next week.
Yeah,
It
yeah. It just happened. I think things like that just happen. Like my washing machine actually just like flooded. Like, and it happened when my
no.
parents were overseas. So
Oh my
like
God.
apparently like a sock was clogging the pipe.
Damn
So and I
sock.
did not know, and I YouTube a lot of things, and I didn't know how to take it out. And yeah,
Did you
I'm
see
so
a lot
spoiled.
of those?
My parents came back, then my dad took it out.
Oh my God.
Then he was like, "Your small socks are." And I'm like,
Don't you put your socks in like the net bag?
"No, I don't.
Oh,
they
well-
free fly, you know."
Yeah. That's why your washing machine gave up. It was like,
Yeah,
I'm done.
it just got clogged. My socks are just too damn small. It's like those ankle socks.
Oh, okay.
So
Damn.
damn the small socks.
Yeah, and then when it happens, because it doesn't happen every day.
Yeah.
I was like super.
Yeah,
wow.
I was like fanning myself. I was like,
Right,
shit,
like,
I broke the damn
I'm gonna
washing
die. It's never gonna be repaired. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So that was really a big bummer because I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
And back then I didn't have that buffer savings thing lah.
It
So
sucks lah.
I had to like give it like out of pocket. Like fine, you know what? You save my clothes, I'll pay you. But then, during that time before we got the repair guy over. After the washing machine broke, we had to go to the laundromat. And can I just say, laundromats are super expensive.
Oh really? How much is it?
Yeah, like prices start from $5 upwards.
But then you have to buy detergent as well, right? It's like you
one
you
that
have
I
to bring
use-
your own detergent, no?
The one that I used, no, we didn't have to. Maybe that's why it was so expensive.
Oh, yeah. Maybe if you bring your own detergent, it will be less expensive.
But they didn't give me that option to use my own detergent.
That's the trick, man.
And it's just
I
mad.
mean, people have to make that moolah.
Yeah, so okay, wait, let me try and find some more prices because I remember it being quite steep for just 15 minutes alone. And I was very sad because I had to use that laundromat for nearly a week, I
Okay,
think.
let me guess.
Okay,
Like
okay.
$8. I guess $8.
$8 for... they go by weight, you know, like the load weight.
So
like
10 kg for $8.
11 kg, okay,
11
close. 11 kg for $6.
I mean, honestly, it does sound like okay, but I think
But
if
then-
you have to do it every week,
Yeah,
you
I
feel
went
like
back
it's
for
a-
like so
like
many
a-
days,
yeah.
and it just added up really
accumulated
fast.
expense.
Yeah. So the prices go up the bigger your load. So if it's a family, I guess as a family it makes sense
Yeah.
because everyone does the load together. Then just like you know for like maybe divide among 4 people, it makes sense. But I was doing it like it was just me and another person, and it was just
I don't think you reach even like 11 kg as well, right?
Yeah.
'Cause 11 kg is quite a lot of clothes.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So that was my stupid washing machine story.
Right. Okay.
It's horrible. But yes, bottom line, please anticipate expenses. So before you move out, you need to think about you need that safety net lah.
Yeah.
Like you can't just go in blind and be like, yeah, freedom.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
how sometimes like things break in your house and your parents magically solve it like my dad did. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be you. And if you can't
Yeah.
if you can't make it happen, then suck it up. You know, you gotta pay
Yeah.
for somebody else to do it for you.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the reality of things. So I think people should really really look at your finances, figure out what's realistic. Don't just be like, oh yeah, that place looks so nice. It has that minimalist look that I want, and it's in the
Yeah.
location that I want,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna live my life, you know, like Friends.
Friends is so unrealistic.
It is like, how can they afford that apartment?
Yeah, I know, right? They cannot. And she was a waitress. She was a
exactly,
waitress.
exactly.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah. So do you?
yeah.
So now that you're living on your own, do you find that your spending habits change, but like now versus before you lived on your own?
Yes. So we go back to the socializing thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first thing that I changed. I was like, no, I'm just gonna meet my friends twice a week, 3 times if it's urgent / somebody's birthday is coming up. And I'm very mindful about where we go to eat. I mean, it's not dictated by price. I'm just like, we have to be. I'm a bit more realistic about what I can afford and what I can't afford. Like, so if I go out with my friends and I'm like, maybe I don't have enough for the month, I'll just let them know. I'll be like, oh, can we go to somewhere cheaper? Oh,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, can we go to somewhere cheaper? Or stuff like that. And as for my shopping, I do that a lot less. I have to be very conscious about it. I can't be like, yeah, I want this game because it's on sale on Steam.
Yeah.
It's very tempting, but
Like anything might happen the next day and you have to pay for it. Like
yeah,
the washing machine.
my god, and it's happened before. Like, you know, like sometimes, I mean, a few times I've like, I treated myself. I'm like, I deserve it, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I worked so hard, and then the next day I get like a call from my family or something like, oh, we need help for medical bills. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I try to be... I'm much more careful with my
Yeah.
spending. So I've kind of accepted it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just part of life. Sometimes that's just how it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're just dealing it the best you can now with the
Yeah.
cards that you're dealt.
Yeah, so I have to be
Yeah.
super careful with my budgeting. I have
Yeah.
to always think, what if something happens this month? Or like, if they need a bit more help than usual. Because I do give allowance. So I still pay my, what do you call it?
Parent tax?
Yes, parent tax. I still pay my parent tax.
Yeah, it's not like
Yeah.
you didn't take care of your parents or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
but oh man, when your
but it's
parents
tough.
get older,
Yeah,
health complications.
yeah.
Health is failing. His health
I
is
mean,
failing.
even my own
Yeah.
parents, they take care of their own medical bills. So I understand that not all parents are...
Not all parents are created equal.
No, dude. I mean, not all parents, they're so prepared, I guess. They're not
Yeah.
so financially prepared.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, people...
Yeah.
Yeah, they just have to prepare
Mm.
additional funds to support their parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, with so many expenses and like so much limited extra money, like how have you learned to like manage your money after living on your own? Like what's the was it like a certain event, or was it more like maybe you joined TSS and you're like
I want to
Excel sheets, budget?
Honestly, no lah. Before I joined TSS, I also did my own budget Excel sheets and stuff. But I wasn't as... Yeah, I want to say that word, but I didn't think I could, but now I can. I wasn't as anal about it. So,
aggressive, I'm just
emphasis, that's right.
aggressive.
Yeah, but after I joined TSS, and that was like January of last year, yeah, I've definitely learned a lot more about, or like I've become more aware
Right.
of things surrounding personal finance.
Yeah.
And it's impossible not to think about your finance when you work here, actually.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say so?
Yes.
Yeah.
Never before has Excel sheets brought me so much pleasure.
They make me very happy, but they also terrify me. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, what is pleasure without a bit of fear?
You know what? Yeah. That's true.
I mean, throwing it out there,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So definitely my I'm really more aware of the money coming in, the money going out.
Right.
I can't just be like, oh yeah, I spend and I don't even think about it after that.
Right.
I do. Now I have new habits, like looking at my transactions and
I guess building habits.
yeah,
help a lot.
yeah. And I always now it's save before you spend. I know I know it's a very happy thing to see like your bank account, like inflate on payday, and you just have to accept that you have obligations, especially if you have rent.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a mental barrier for me at first.
Oh.
Like save first and spend, fine. But then now with the added obligation of like paying rent, you can't help but feel, it's the same way that I think it's the same way people feel when their money is taken, quote, I'm putting up carrots right now, when their money is taken away by CPF.
I didn't even know this called carrots.
I don't know, they just look like
Rabbits. Aren't they rabbits?
Oh no.
Bunnies.
Yeah.
Bunnies. She meant bunnies. Okay, not carrots.
I meant bunnies. Anyway, yeah. So that's that. Okay. You just can't help but feel like you are losing money, which is... It is that, because you have to... There's no choice. You have to spend the money. You have to pay your bills. You have to pay rent if you're living on your own.
I mean, freedom comes at a price, right?
Yeah, so you have to be really mature about it. You can't be like, I want to buy like the Animal Crossing Nintendo Switch,
Yeah, it's. I guess you cannot have your cake and eat it too.
Yes, and you really learn a lot about delayed gratification.
Yeah.
Which is the whole thing, guys. I've put off so many purchases ever since I started paying rent, and actually it's worth it lah. After,
like, do you even miss all these like wants actually after a certain time?
actually no,
No,
because
right?
it's no longer like an immediate need. No, sometimes it still feels like a need, but I'm used to not having to like I know I won't get it immediately, and that's fine. I'll get it some other time. Yeah. So I think how I view the things that I want versus the things that I need is
Change a lot.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because now your biggest need is literally a roof over your head, right? I think that puts a lot of things into perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe some last words. How would you not survive? How would you advise people who feel that they are ready to move out and rent? How would you suggest for them to prepare themselves a bit more before they do it? Or is it like, maybe it's not as awesome as people make it out to be?
Actually, yeah, I was thinking of that. Like,
and you know what I think makes it more like a fantasy more than anything? I think it's all the American TV shows.
That's why I said Friends, right?
Yeah, because like most Americans, they live paycheck to paycheck. Most Americans, they cannot handle a $1,000 emergency.
Yeah, actually.
Yes, and a lot of them live on minimum wage. It's only because it's socially the norm for people to move out. That's why.
Yeah, for them, it's right? Like when they go to university, then that's when they get their first taste of living on their own. Yeah. And then after that, it's a given that you'll move out and get your own house. But
yeah, I mean, go on Reddit, you'll see a lot of people complaining about their crazy roommates and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not as...
It's not what you see on TV.
Yeah,
for sure. Like, I mean, yeah, it's nice to not have to answer to anyone. You can go out as late as you like, and I've done that before. I've come back at like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m.
I mean, while living with my parents, I still come back.
Well, yeah, but then there's also like, do they like nag you to like, hey, where are you?
I mean, they'll ask me, but then I'll just say, I'll be back late now. I mean, I'll even... I think it's a courteous thing to tell my parents. Like, you don't need to wait up for me.
Yeah.
I
think other parents are,
I think it depends on how old you are. I'm like 26
Yeah, Mom, I'm like big enough to get drunk outside. And
I think, it depends on how controlling your parents are as well. So,
yeah, it's like a very person to person.
So
I was saying, it's not like what you see on TV all the time. It's nice to be alone, but sometimes I do feel like I am alone too much. I am extremely alone sometimes. Like on the weekend, if I have no plans, then I'm like sitting alone at home and like...
But do you feel lonely?
Sometimes. Not all the time. It's not like an everyday thing. It's just like sometimes I'm like, I just wish I could, see somebody...
Or like listen to some like background. I feel like when my parents go overseas, I feel like I miss that like Kento drama on the TV playing outside.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's just like very silent. I think
it's like those home noises.
Yeah. Like
Yeah. And I mean, I do have that. Like my friends' grandparents do watch TV and stuff, but it's just I mean, I see them as family, but they're still not like.
It's different.
It's different. Like I don't hate them, but it's different, and sometimes it gets to you, and you feel like,
especially in Singapore where like everyone lives with their parents. Almost everyone.
Yeah, and then I'm always caught between, there's no one. I'm feeling alone at home, and then on the other hand, I'm like, I want to go out with my friends whenever I can, but then remember my 2 times a week rule.
Right. Yeah.
So gotta balance it. Sometimes I do break that rule because like I do want to see my friends.
Or have like some free activities. I don't know.
Yeah, do something creative that doesn't cost a lot of money. We can talk about that next time.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how.
Any advice to
be realistic.
Yeah,
for sure, be realistic, and please be like, I think we all owe it to ourselves to be financially prepared.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't just. I know it sounds very romantic.
Yeah, don't romanticize like living alone.
Come on.
It kind of like...
It's not gonna turn out.
Both situations, they kind of suck in their own way, right?
Yeah.
Is what kind of suck you can deal with?
Yeah, what type of suck can you deal with?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's...
And and in the long run, I feel like renting is not the most sustainable thing as well.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Yes.
I know it seems like Americans are totally like it's normalized for them, but
you have to remember like most of their land and their houses, they're much more affordable than Singapore. I mean, if you're not talking about city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you can get like super affordable
like mansions
options.
for what we get for a 4-room flat.
Yeah, and it's not just for Americans. I'm sure other Westerners also.
Yeah.
Like, in Singapore, it's very steep. Things are steep.
Just go to Property Guru and then you'll see.
Take a look.
And then you divide it by the amount of rent that you need to pay, and then
you multiply. You try and project into the future.
Yeah,
Sometimes I do that. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how much I'm gonna spend?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
And then after that, you change your mind and be like, oh, this could be money that I can save.
Exactly. Like,
then,
what could I afford with all of this rent that I've paid so far? Oh man, I don't want to think about it.
Okay, don't think about it.
I won't.
Since you've already made your decision. But for people who haven't, maybe you can try doing that, and then maybe that can change your mind. And if it doesn't, then maybe you can start seriously thinking about it.
Yeah.
And seriously saving like hell.
Yeah, I mean, don't starve yourself, but be realistic.
Yes.
And you want that thing, you can wait a little longer for it if you still want it.
That's true.
Like, So that's it.
Okay. How do I sign out?
This is our first time.
Be gentle.
Yeah. So I guess that's
okay. So thanks for listening to our first podcast. I hope it was useful for everyone out there who's thinking about moving out or renting.
Yeah.
If you wanna keep in touch,
we're on like social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, The Simple Sound.
Look out for our next podcast.
Yes, that's right.
Hey, signing out and keep it simple. dude, why you laugh?
It's funny. Okay, anyway,
Okay,
that's
goodbye.
right. Bye bye.